Hello, you bunch of absolutely incredible, wonderful people. It's a pleasure to have you back on here. I got something really, really cool for you today in this video, and I think that you're going to like it a lot. It's something called second order consequences. Now, I know it sounds boring as fuck, but trust me, when you start implementing these things, it'll give you an unfair advantage over your competitors. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to run you through what are second order consequences, why should you actually care about them, and how can you utilize these to create an unfair advantage over your competitors. By the way, for those of you who don't know me, I'm James Cant. I'm the owner and founder of JCF Coaching. We're a performance and strategic coaching company. We help men just like you absolutely dominate in their business, make way more money, have way more fun, have better connections with our partners, wives, and kids, and just crush life while we're doing with it. We make men who are absolutely exceptional, guys like Adam Nash, guys like Marcus Norton, and these dudes who are absolutely dominating. That is what we do. We make them absolutely freaking incredible. So let's crack on into it. Second order consequences, what are they? So let's say that you go out one day and you go have a few beers with the boys, and then a few beers turns into a few many, and then a few many turns into way too fucking many, and then that turns into a 5 o'clock finish, 5 a.m. finish, and you're wandering home and you get back, right? The first order consequence of this is that you go out and you spend a lot of money. You go drop $400-500 drinking way too many beers, right? You spend a whole heap of cash there and you blow money. That would be the first order consequence. The second order consequence are consequences which follow on from that first order consequence, right? Things like you wake up and you're extremely tired the next day and you feel like shit. And then from there, you struggle to work. Like you don't do your very best work. You've got brain fog, you've got anxiety, you're a little bit more stressed, a little bit more irritable, and so on and so forth. And because you're stressed and because you're irritable, you're a bit of a dick to the receptionist. And so your receptionist, she or he then has the shits with you for the next few days. And so their performance goes down and they don't serve your customers as well. And then because they're not serving your customers as well, some of them then leave, right? As an example. Does that make sense? So the first order consequence is, hey, I'm drinking this beer and I'm spending this money. Cost me $500. No big deal. It's only $500. Who's ever sweated over $500 before? But the second order consequences are when you start having a decline in your performance, which then leads to a decline in performance throughout your whole team. We coach a lot of guys who are like crushing it in business and crushing it in work and doing very, very well, but they're very, very stressed out and very, very strung out. And we notice with a lot of these dudes that stress and that anxiety often then flows off into multiple areas. It can flow off into their employees. We coach a lot of guys who have high rates of employees leaving, high employee churn. We have a lot of guys who have difficulties within their marriages. They're not connecting with their kids as well, just because they're always stressed out and anxious, right? And so that's how the stress and the anxiety, a second order consequence, then starts propagating and creating more and more and more problems for us over time. And it's not what you think. When you think, hey, I'm going to go out and have a few beers with the boys, like you don't think, hey, this is going to turn into me spending $500 and then going and being anxious the next day and, screwing things up with my receptionist and then losing clients, right? We don't think of that traditionally. And that's got to be the difference between someone who is, regular run-of-the-mill type dude and someone who's exceptional and someone who's uncommon. The person who is uncommon, the person who is exceptional is the dude who can think about the second order consequences and use them to their advantage. And one of the biggest second order consequences that a lot of people never think of is themselves. When we do our coaching, we work with a lot of guys. We see a lot of dudes who have kind of let themselves go to the wayside. They've got a business which is thriving. It's absolutely humming. They're doing exceptionally well. They're working a lot of hours every single week. They're very, very busy, and they start letting themselves go down and they start letting themselves begin to decay. And when we start letting ourselves decay and go backwards, our performance goes backwards with us as well. So as I was talking about before, let's picture this, right? Your business is going great. You're working 80 hours a week. You're not sleeping terribly well. Your stress is a little bit high. Your anxiety is a little bit high. You're fighting with your wife a little bit more than what you'd like to. You're not getting along with your kids. They're not talking to you a whole heap. You ask them how their day is and you get a grunt back, that type of thing. And life's not super pretty for you and it's not a whole heap of fun. Now, most people think, all right, well, I've just got to keep going forwards because this is just how life is. But the exceptional person thinks differently because they want to use this second order consequence to create an advantage. What's happening here is we have the first order consequences. We're putting a lot of effort into our business, which is making the business grow. Great. Second order consequences, everything else is going to shit behind us. Now, one of the things that a lot of us don't think about and most people are very, very blind to is the fact that If you slept well, if you worked less, if you were less stressed out, if you were less anxious, if you had a better relationship with your wife and you didn't fight with her as much, if you had a better relationship and connection with your kids and you were much happier and much more charismatic, do you think that your business would maybe go a little bit better? Of course it would, every single time, because you are the number one driving force of your business and the number one driving force of your success. I don't know a single business in the history of ever that does better when their leader is down and out and not having a good time than when their leader is exceptional and every single part of his or her life is going exactly as it should be. I mean, if you look at this, the reason why the CEO, the founder, the owner, the main driving force is such a key role within the business, well, I mean, all you got to do is look at the biggest businesses in the world. If one of the biggest businesses in the world isn't performing well, who gets the sack straight away? It's the CEO, right? The guy at the top, because he is the one who controls the business, because he controls the culture, he controls the morale, he controls the sales, the marketing, absolutely everything. He is where the buck starts and ends. And so if we can make that guy, the guy who's at the top of the business, perform just a little bit better, you're going to get a trickle-down effect throughout the whole of the business, and every single part of the business is going to start functioning to a much, much higher level. Is this making sense so far? So we have the first order consequence of being stressed out or anxious. Cool, I'm stressed out and anxious. But the second order consequence is the effect that actually goes and has on the business. So how can we create an unfair advantage knowing and acknowledging these second order consequences? Well, here's how. And this is what we do for our guys all the time. And it's tremendously effective. We've got a number of guys who've been able to dramatically increase their incomes. I mean, we've got one guy who's gone from, 4 years ago is pretty much broke to now making they're going to do $80 million in turnover this year, right? 0 to 80 million. We've got another dude who's like tripled his income in about a year and a bit. This works repeatedly, right? Over time. The way that we can turn this into an unfair advantage is by doing the following. We need to look at how you impact your business, and the way that you feel and the way that you act impacts your business. So what I mean by this is how much energy you have. If you don't sleep well, what impact or what cost does that have to the business? If you're stressed out and anxious and you put shit on your receptionist, then he or she goes and blows a couple of deals for you, what impact does that have? If you are not showing up the way that you should, and it's causing you to not lead your team the way that they should be being led, and you're not causing them to act in the way which is going to be most effective for the business, what impact does that have on the business? So when we can go and identify these variables, we can then go and fix them. For example, one of the easiest things I think that we can do to make any business go better is to give the founder of the business more energy. If you just have more energy and you're more charged, more charismatic and happier, things are going to be way better. The next thing, we need to reduce anxiety. One of the biggest reasons, I was talking with a guy about this today, one of his biggest fears and one of his threats to his business he sees is just an industry downturn. I'm like, okay, so when did this last industry downturn happen? He said, oh, well, it hasn't happened since I can remember one. I'm like, so why the fuck would you be worried about that? And pretty much we broke it down, and it was just a base level of anxiety. And this dude was acting every single day in his business like there was just about to be a massive downturn. And we worked this out. This has actually cost him millions over the last 10 years, like millions and millions of dollars of both turnover and profit, all because he was coming from a place of anxiety. Now, if you think about this, I don't know if you've had anxiety, but I've had a shitload of it in my time. I used to really suffer with anxiety. I look at the decisions that I made when I was anxious. Were they good decisions? No, they were terrible decisions, because they were terrible decisions coming out of a place of scarcity, out of fear, and out of worry. Now, I don't know if you know how much you know about humans, but humans don't think terribly well when we're fearful or when we're scarce. I mean, all you got to do is look at coronavirus when that was happening, and when the government said that there was going to be a toilet paper shortage. You look at how people are acting then. They're literally afraid of not having toilet paper, so they go and hoard and buy fucking trolley loads of toilet paper. That is how stupid people are when they're afraid. And yes, we can go and judge them, but we all do it, right? That's a human nature thing. We need to not be in a place of fear or scarcity. That means that we need to get rid of anxiety. And for example, have you ever known someone who's a very, very high performer, someone who's absolutely exceptional? I know a lot of them, and this is exactly how they act. They're always cool, calm, and collected, no matter what's going on. Their business could be going bankrupt. Everything could be going to shit. They could be getting sued 1,000 times over, and still nothing bothers them. And that's the difference between people who are able to be exceptional in business and people who are not. And then the third thing after that is how we handle and how we deal with stress and how we propagate it throughout our organization. If we can make it so that we don't feel burned out, if we can make it so that we don't feel stressed, if we can demonstrate to our employees, to our team, to our customers that everything is easy and everything is super good, we inspire confidence within them. And when we inspire confidence within them, we get a dramatic boost in performance. Plus, also, you make a hell of a lot more money. And I'll put it to you this way. You've got two lawyers, right? Two different lawyers that you're choosing. And these guys, they need to serve you for whatever's going on, right? One guy, the first guy that you go and meet, is stressed out of his fucking mind. He's been working massive weeks. He looks like he's hardly slept. He probably hasn't even showered. He's got papers flying everywhere. He screws up who you are in the first place, eventually corrects it. That's your first guy. The second guy rocks in, cool, calm, collected. Everything's good. He's got your file there. It's all sorted. He knows how you're going to win this case. Which one do you choose? The latter. But, you know, the funny thing about most businesses is which one are they? Which one out of those two lawyers are most business owners these days? It's the first one, because they don't sleep, they don't look after their energy, they don't look after their stress, they don't manage their anxiety. They got all this stuff going on and they put themselves last. They think that by putting the business first, by putting everyone else first before them and sacrificing themselves, that they're actually doing the right thing. And yes, I definitely agree that the man is the provider of the household and the man should be doing his job in life and purpose in life is to provide. But if the man provides at the expense of himself, if he's providing to his business, providing to his kids, providing to his wife and his partner, his family, he's providing at the expense of himself, the man is actually going to end up providing less. Why? Because he's not going to be able to generate as much income. He's not going to be able to be as present. He's not going to be able to have as much energy, and he will not have as much success. And that is why second order consequences are so important, because most of the time all we think about is, how do I make more money? How do I make this business grow? How do I do better? And we look at absolutely everything except ourselves. We are the ultimate example of an understanding of second order consequences gives us an unfair advantage over our competitors, because while they're running ragged, they're exhausted, they're tired, they're beat up, they're stressed, they're burnout, they're anxious, we are cool, calm, and collected. We have every single thing working for us perfectly because we are on point and on song 24/7, 365. Now, if that's how you want to be, but you're not sure how, welcome to the club. There's a whole heap of dudes who are just like you, and that's who we work with and that's who we coach. If you would like to make a lot more money in your business, if you would like to be there for your family, if you would like to be more present with your wife, able to hang out with your kids without thinking about work, and actually be able to develop really, really amazing relationships, because let's be honest, all of us guys in business, the reason why we get into business in the first place is to provide a better life for the people that we love. If that's what you'd like to do, I've got something which can help you out. We run a program which is designed to help guys specifically just like you, guys who are feeling like their energy isn't where it could be. They're feeling stressed out, they're feeling tired or anxious, and they're feeling like they could just do with a little upgrade. If that is you and you would like to be better and you want to perform at a much, much higher level so that you can get that unfair advantage over all of your competitors, click on the link below and it'll take you across to a page which runs you through how our program works and exactly what we do for guys who are just like you, because I think it's going to be very, very helpful for you. I've coached over 7,000 guys. I already mentioned Marcus just earlier before, who took his business from zero to about $80 million turnover per year. I mentioned Nashi as well, who tripled his income. We've got thousands of guys just like this who are absolutely dominating life every single day in every single way. And if you'd like a little piece of that, go click on the link down below. It'll take you across the page. It'll run you through how we work, and it'll show you exactly what's possible. Because here's the thing, right? And I want you to remember this. The sole job of a man is to be a provider. That is our only point of being here on this earth. We are providers until we die. We're here to provide finances and provide money and put food on the table for our family. We're here to provide love and affection and care for our partners. And we're here to provide an example, be a role model, and be exceptional for our kids so that we can teach them how to grow up and be exceptional. And one part of that a lot of men miss out is that it begins with you, with how you act and how you show up. Now, a lot of the time we'll try and tell our kids, for example, we'll say, this is how I want you to act. Or we'll tell our employees, this is how you should be every single day. You shouldn't be stressed. You should be calm. You should work harder, all that sort of thing, all that sort of stuff. But here's the thing. Our kids, our employees, everybody around us, they never act how we tell them to act. They act how they see us act. They imitate us, particularly our kids. So if you want to raise kids who are going to be absolutely exceptional, you need to be exceptional yourself. It's not enough to teach them. You need to show them. It needs to start with you. And if that's what you want to do, click on the link below and we'll make sure that you're dominating life just like we've done for thousands of guys before. On that note, guys, I'll leave you all to it. I hope this has helped you out. Please implement these second order consequences. Learn how to use it for your advantage. Gain an unfair advantage over all of your competitors. Click on the link below if you'd like our help. I'll speak to you soon.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you got something out of it and you want to learn more, click the link below or type in High Performance Conversations with James Cant and you'll be able to check out all the podcasts that we've done. We cover a stack of different topics, everything from getting your mojo back, overcoming anxiety, self-doubt, self-esteem, and learning from some of the industries and some of the world's top performers in both business and in health. Look forward to having you on there.